The Bible is one of the most important and influential books of all time. But what is it exactly?
Yeah, some people talk about the Bible like it's a big rule book that fell out of heaven.
Other people use the Bible like a textbook written to answer all of our questions about God, or like a big collection of inspirational one-liners.
Here's the thing. The Bible isn't written as a rule book, or a theology dictionary, or even as a collection of inspirational writings.
Then what is the Bible?
Well, open up the Bible to page 1 and read the first few words.
In the beginning.
Now, turn to the last chapter of the Bible where you can read this.
And they reigned forever and ever. Okay, so the Bible is telling a story from beginning to end.
Yes, it's an epic narrative about how God has made humans his partners to take care of the amazing world he created. It's about how we ruined that partnership by rebelling against God and how he is restoring us and our world through Jesus.
So an awesome story, but there's a lot going on. Inside the Bible are a bunch of different books with their own stories and characters.
Here's what's so amazing. Every book has been designed to be a part of and enrich the overall storyline.
And knowing how to read the Bible helps us not to get lost.
There are also important themes repeated throughout the entire biblical story. A big theme in the Bible are the covenants or promises that God makes with people.
And the hope for a human hero who will defeat evil.
Every theme comes alive in the story of Jesus.
There are also a lot of strange words in the Bible. Words I don't really know.
When we take the time to understand those strange words, we discover ideas that help us understand the overall story of the Bible.
Reading the Bible takes work.
It's not a book that just gives you all the answers right away. The Bible takes you on a journey.
I love journeys.
The Bible is a work of literary genius. And the more we read and study God's Word, the more it changes the way we live and how we think about everything. The Bible is a one-of-a-kind book that will challenge you and change you.
And takes you on an epic journey.
If you're wanting to start reading the Bible, you should probably start in one of these 4 books from the New Testament: Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John. They're all about Jesus' life, where he went, who he saw, what he did, miracles. Say I want to start in Luke. You're just going to go over here to the books, scroll to which one you want, pick the chapter. You probably are going to want to start at the beginning of the chapter, or else it might get a little confusing. But once you've read one of those, you can read the other 3, maybe read some more of the New Testament, some of the Old Testament. Don't worry, this isn't like a full-on Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter book. It's just like a short chapter book. And if you ever get to any confusing part, like this whole line of a family tree, Abraham was the father of Isaac, Obed was the father of Jesse, Jehoram was the father of Uzziah. I have no idea. Just ask yourself this question: how is what I'm reading pointing me to Jesus? Because I know there's a lot of confusing things that may seem really unnecessary in the Bible, but they're all there for a reason. If you really think about it, all the way at the beginning, it starts with Abraham, who's pretty important in the Bible. And if you scroll all the way down to Jesus, it kind of shows us he was human. He was a man. He had parents, and he had grandparents and great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents. I don't know what these little 3 text bubbles are. So basically, it's just the tips button. It'll show you descriptions or definitions, or if it was in the Old Testament, just kind of a little helpful guide, if you will. All these words are in red, so you can tell that Jesus said them. The Bible can help guide you, give you perspective, and surprise you. The words of Jesus give you a solid foundation.
Jesus said, "Help! I'm sinking in quicksand. It's time for the quiz thing." Hey, how old are you? Old enough to build a house, right? And what are you going to need to build that house? Cash, and tons of it. Houses are expensive, but also you're going to need a solid foundation. Throughout history, people were using all kinds of materials to build the foundations for their house. But which civilization was it that figured out we should probably use something strong like concrete? Was it A, the Babylonians, B, the Romans, C, the Egyptians, or D, the Greeks? Well, the Babylonians, they used reed mats, which was a bad idea. And it wasn't the Egyptians or the Greeks because they were using stones. It was B, the smarty pants Romans that figured out if you take lime and volcanic rock and mix it together in a mortar, it makes concrete. And this type of building foundations was implemented all the way up until the 18th century. So good job, Romans. You did it. You figured out concrete, a basic building material. You need strong materials to build a strong foundation, but don't forget it's also about the interaction between the structure and the soil underneath. I feel like you're forgetting that, and I remind you every time. If you've got soft soil, your structure's not gonna stand. Everybody was looking around, they were building these houses, and they were putting them on sand, and they were like, hey, our houses are sinking. Hey, great news, guys. The houses that we built on sand, they're sinking. Hey, cool, we got the concrete in and we put the foundation, we laid the foundation, and then the house, it's sinking. In 1172, there was this dude who wanted to build a bell tower. And so he started building without checking the soil first. And the soil, spoiler alert, was super soft. So he just kept building and the tower kept leaning. And this famous tower was known as the Leaning Tower of A, Pisa, B, Pica, C, FIFA, or D, Pizza. If you said D, the Leaning Tower of Pizza, stop it. Stop it. It's not the Leaning Tower of Pizza. It's A, Pisa. I'm not licensed to talk about building, but I want to give you a little advice. When you go to build your tower to the sky, check the soil first. If it's mostly clay and sand, don't build there. These guys in Pisa, they probably could have learned a lot from what Jesus had to say in the book of Matthew. He said, build your foundation on the solid rock. But he wasn't just handing out building advice like some sort of supernatural Bob Vila. That's a dated reference. Let's go supernatural Chip and Joanna. Fix-it-feely Bob the Builder. Jesus was actually talking about a very important survival skill when it comes to our faith. Name your biggest problem. Think right now of what's really weighing down on you. Just take a second and think about it. Whatever you're thinking about right now, they talk about it in the Bible. If you're going to step up to the challenge of actually being the architect of your faith, you're going to have to read what Jesus said and did about the problems that we all face. One of the reasons that God sent Jesus to earth is to give us rock solid teaching. That's what Jesus is talking about. He's saying, build your foundation on this teaching. If you're done with soft sand, then read what Jesus said. If you want concrete answers to your problems, take a look at what Jesus did. And don't just read it, apply it. Put it into practice. These stories are your stories. So go be a builder. I'm the quiz man. Goodbye. Bye.
Hey, what was it? What did you say about
So nice to see everybody. What are we doing here?
We're here.
We're out here.